Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held summit talks with the visiting German Chancellor Angela Merkel at the Ittihadiyya Palace in Cairo. During the meeting, President al-Sisi and Merkel discussed means of boosting bilateral ties in various domains, in addition to a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace in Cairo on Thursday, during which they probed means of fostering bilateral ties in various fields and discussed a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern, plus ways of slowing migration to Europe and combating terrorism. At a joint press conference following the talks, President al-Sisi reiterated that Egypt was looking forward for a brighter future to its citizens, being supported by its traditional partners, including Germany. The head of state noted that their talks had centered on a number of files tackling bilateral cooperation and economic partnership. He confirmed that both sides had agreed on promoting ties in various fields, hailing the distinguished bilateral relations. Sisi noted that many German companies are currently contributing in carrying out Egyptian national projects, adding that the two countries are coordinating efforts, which reflects the strength of distinguished ties that bind the two nations and depend on mutual respect and fruitful cooperation. In this respect, he said he had informed the German Chancellor with steps taken by Egypt in the past 3 years in order to achieve political stability and economic development, in addition to people's achievements to consolidate the cornerstone of the modern civil state and issue a constitution which safeguards freedoms in a way that preserves Egypt's identity. He insisted that electing a parliament that represents all sects of the society reveals Egypt's keenness to respect law and human rights as well as key freedoms, in parallel with efforts exerted to maintain peace and stability and confront repercussions of regional tensions. He insisted that electing a parliament that represents all sects of the society reveals Egypt's keenness to respect law and human rights as well as key freedoms, in parallel with efforts exerted to maintain peace and stability and confront repercussions of regional tensions. The president referred to the brave economic reform program, which had been agreed on with the International Monetary Fund, in addition to mega and national projects being implemented. He reiterated that Egypt is keen on realizing human rights. Sisi said the two sides had agreed to coordinate efforts to settle so many crises hitting the Middle East region through peaceful and political settlements. They notably reviewed the migrant crisis and terrorism. On Syria, President Sisi stressed that Syrians should not be left in hands of terrorists. He noted that Egypt does not have refugee camps, adding that more than 5 million refugees are being hosted by the country and treated as citizens. For her part, Merkel said the two countries had agreed to coordinate efforts to fight terrorism and solve problems of the borders. She promised to support Syrian refugees who are in bad need for help. Meanwhile, the two leaders inaugurated 3 electricity stations being carried out in cooperation with German company Siemens at a cost of 6 billion euros. Minister of Electricity Mohammed Shakir attended the inauguration ceremony. During her visit, Merkel meets with Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Ahmad Al-Tayyib, as well as Pope Tawadros II, the Pope of Alexandria, and the Patriarch of the Holy Apostolic See. Joined by a business delegation, she also holds talks with a number of economic specialists, businessmen, and civil society representatives. Starting a 2-day official visit earlier in the day, the German Chancellor was received by Prime Minister Sharif Ismail at the Cairo International Airport. On Friday, the German Chancellor will head to Tunisia, where she will hold talks with the Tunisian President. Her Middle East visit is aimed at pushing to limit migrant flows to Europe through the northern African states, especially Libya. Merkel has been under intense pressure to reduce the number of asylum seekers coming to Germany, which has taken in over 1 million migrants in 2015.
Egypt and Germany have been working to boost the relations in recent years. The two countries' ties have improved remarkably in various fields after President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's visit to Germany in 2015. The details in the upcoming report.
Cairo hosts on Thursday an Egyptian-German summit between President Fattah al-Sisi and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Merkel has a busy agenda during her two-day visit. In a press conference 2 days ahead of Merkel's first visit to Cairo, the German ambassador to Egypt said that the issue of combating terrorism, illegal migration and the resumption of German NGOs operating in civil society in Egypt will be on the table for discussions. The envoy described the visit as a major political event and a climax in relations. The ambassador said that Germany is indeed interested in investing in Egypt, announcing that 19 major German CEOs will be visiting with Merkel, including German Siemens CEO Joe Kaeser. German investments in Egypt are estimated to total 1.5 billion euros and provide around 22,000 jobs. Kaeser joins El-Sisi and Merkel in the inauguration of the first phase of the Siemens mega project to build 3 new power plants in Egypt. The first phase of to bolster the country's power capacity was completed, in which 4.8 gigawatts of power connected to the national grid. El-Sisi and Merkel inaugurate the first stage of the project's new power plants in Bani Suef, Borollos and the new administrative capital through a video conference. Merkel's visit is the first since 2007. In 2015, the German company Siemens signed an 8 billion euros deal with the Egyptian government to build 3 combined cycle power plants and 12 wind power installations at a capacity of 16.4 gigawatts. The project aims to boost Egypt's power generation capacity by around 50% by completion in May 2018.
And we have more details about the visit of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel to Egypt and the meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi at the Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace with our correspondent Linda Abdel Latif.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received German Chancellor Angela Merkel at the Ittihadiyya Palace. Upon her arrival, President al-Sisi and Merkel held a joint meeting that discussed bilateral relations and issues of mutual concern. Afterwards, an expanded meeting was held that included officials from both countries, and following that, the Egyptian-German Business Council meeting took place. President al-Sisi and Merkel also witnessed through video conference the inauguration of the first phase of 3 power stations that have been implemented by Siemens with a total cost of 8 billion euros. President al-Sisi and Merkel also held a joint press conference.
For his part, the president referred to what has been achieved by the Egyptians in a short period regarding consolidating the foundations of the modern civil state and approving a developed constitution that protects freedoms and one that preserves Egypt's identity. The president also referred to the election of a diverse parliament that represents all sectors of the society, which confirms Egypt's determination and commitment to uphold the rule of law and respect human rights and political freedoms, in parallel with the efforts taken to protect the country's security and stability. And on the economic level, the president said that he presented the serious and courageous decisions and steps taken by the government within the economic reform program that is being implemented. That's besides the agreement that has been reached with the International Monetary Fund to support this program. And in that regard, President al-Sisi expressed his appreciation for Germany's support for Egypt's economic reform program. President al-Sisi also said that his discussions with Merkel
also included regional and international issues of mutual concern and ways to cooperate to face current challenges. And within that framework, President al-Sisi stressed on the importance of enhancing consultation between Egypt and Germany and coordinating efforts in order to participate in reaching political solutions for crises in the Middle East. The president also said that they discussed ways to enhance cooperation in order to deal with the refugees and the flow of illegal immigrants crises, thus besides combating terrorism and extremism, which represent a common threat. And in that regard, the president emphasized that Egypt is engaged in a battle against terrorism and stands in the first line of defense in the face of this common threat, and added that he's looking forward to coordinating with the German side in that important file. For her part, Merkel said that she's pleased with the warm welcome she received and said that Egypt plays an important role in the region, adding that Germany is one of the most important trade partners to Egypt. And in that regard, Merkel hailed the volume of trade exchange between both countries that has exceeded 5 billion euros, adding that the German companies are keen on increasing their investments in Egypt. President Sisi and Merkel also discussed making use of the German experience in the technical education and vocational training through launching a new project for cooperation in that field. Merkel also said that Germany would like to partner with Egypt in regards to solving the Libyan file, and said that her meeting with President Sisi tackled solutions for illegal migration. Merkel also invited President Sisi to participate in the summit that will be hosted in Berlin in June on developments in Africa.
The visit of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel to Egypt is a historical visit that reflects the strong relations that gather both countries on all levels, and one that will push forward the political, economic and tourism relations that have been thriving with the continuous cooperation and coordination between both countries. Linda Abdulatif, Nile TV International.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received the Lebanese Cardinal Bishara Boutros, the Patriarch of the Catholic Church, and the Iraqi Patriarch Luis Rafael Sacco. Presidential spokesman Ala Yusuf said that President al-Sisi hailed the participation of the two religious figures in the Freedom and Citizenship Conference, which was organized by Al-Azhar. The president stressed the significance of the values of tolerance, peace and accepting the other, denouncing ideologies adopted by the terrorist organizations. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met with the head of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Peter Maurer, in Geneva. During his meeting with Maurer, Shoukry expressed the Egyptian support for the role of the Red Cross in providing support to the people in the conflict zones. The top diplomat expressed willingness to support the Red Cross operations in the conflict zones in the Egyptian neighboring countries. He stressed that the Palestinian cause represents a priority to the Arab world. The meeting was held on the sidelines of the 34th session of the International Human Rights Council. Shoukry will deliver the Egyptian speech before the gathering. The Court of Appeals found the former President Hosni Mubarak innocent of involvement in the killing of protesters during the 2011 revolution that ended his 30-year rule in a final ruling that could see the former president walk free. The court, headed by Councillor Ahmed Abdul Qawi, heard the referral order to the trial of the former president. The judge read Mubarak the charges in which he and his Interior Minister Habib al-Adli were accused of providing vehicles and weapons used to assault the protesters and failing to take action to prevent the deaths during the revolution. Mubarak denied involvement in the killing of protesters. After an all-day hearing, the judge announced that the court had found the defendant innocent. The court also rejected the demands by the lawyers of the victims to reopen the civil suits, leaving no remaining option for the appeal or the retrial.